Welcome to Penny for Your Shots, conversations and cocktails with brilliant women, the podcast where we uncork the stories and insights of exceptional female leaders from all walks of life. Our goal is to serve up wisdom, tips, and inspiration, and to support each other in rediscovering ourselves and what sets our souls on fire. We'll also share personal memories, paired with friends and a favorite beverage. I'm your host, Penny Fitzgerald, and I believe that the best stories are served up over a glass of wine or a cocktail. So grab a glass, get comfy, and let's pour ourselves into Penny for Your Shots. As long as I've known her, Esther Wheeler has gone by the name Sunny. If you've met her or checked out her social media presence, you'll agree she lives up to that nickname. In this episode, she shares how she got the nickname and how it's an homage to her grandmother. You'll also learn some World War II history through family stories Sunny shares, and hear some inspiration about resilience and forgiveness. Sunny is now a successful realtor with over 10 years of experience in Orange County, California. She shares what it's like to rely on yourself for income and some tips for gamifying difficult tasks. We chat about collaborations and building relationships, and we also discuss home prices in the OC. Grab a glass you don't want to miss a minute of Sunny Wheeler. Hey, Sunny, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Thank you so much for chatting with me.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So you are in sunny California, right? So
I
southern.
am. Yes.
Very nice.
Yes. Yep. In South Orange County.
Very nice. And you are a realtor, correct?
Yes. That's right.
Very cool. Well, I met you many moons ago over a mutual love of wine.
Yes.
Yes, very cool. And I wanted to chat with you. I love your social media presence. You're always so positive and fun and just always putting positive vibes out there. I really enjoy and appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Try to live up to the nickname.
Yeah,
right. Right.
Right. So how long have you been known as Sunny? Was that your childhood nickname, or how did you get that name?
No, it was my grandmother's nickname, and I actually took it on when I was going through a divorce, 18 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was a difficult time and just very challenging. And I just thought I needed to tap into the energy, of my grandmother.
Yeah.
She was a World War II concentration camp survivor and came to America. She traveled from Indonesia to Holland to America, and then, raised her kids, had cancer, all kinds of things, and just always a survivor with a great attitude, always known as Sunny. And so I just thought I have to tap into that energy. If she can get through all of that, I can get through a divorce, And so, I was telling a friend of mine that story, and he was just like, "Oh, you are Sunny. I'm going to start calling you Sunny Marie." And so he started introducing me to his friends as Sunny Marie. And then I just kind of, took that nickname and ran with it.
That's so cool. What a great way to honor her.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she was in Holland for a while before. What took her to Holland?
Well, my family comes from the Dutch East Indies, which is now known as Indonesia.
Oh.
And so during World War II, when there was, the Holocaust and everything going on in Europe, there was also what was known as the Pacific Theater. So the Japanese were taking over territory in the South Pacific. So my family, my mom and her siblings were taken captive by the Japanese as they were taking over territory. And so my grandfather was fighting for the Dutch military because the Dutch East Indies was colonized by the Dutch, back in the 1700s or whatever, for the spices and the teas. And so there was a lot of Indonesians that were mixed. They were Dutch Indonesians.
Wow.
And so, so then they were, they were captive. And then after the war, so then America got involved when Pearl Harbor was bombed, right? And so then America got into the war. And so my mom's family was liberated by U.S. and Allied troops. And then there was a civil war with the Indonesians because they wanted their independence from the Dutch. They didn't want to be under that colonization government anymore. So then there was this infighting. So anybody who had that Dutch ancestry, like both of my parents, actually, they were born in Indonesia, but of Dutch and European heritage.
Okay.
So they were told either, denounce your European heritage and become fully Indonesian or get out. So then there was this mass
Oh my
exodus
gosh.
from Indonesia to the Netherlands.
Uh-huh.
And Holland's just this tiny little country, so it was kind of overrun by all these European Dutch Indonesians. So then America saw what was going on and allowed for us a tiny window of refugees to come to America. As long as they were sponsored, they had to be sponsored by a church or an individual or a corporation. So they did not become a burden to the government. And they had to be sponsored for 7 years. This is back in the 1950s. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So my mom was sponsored by a church. So she came over as a teenager. And then my dad came over as a young adult. I think he was 22. And then they met in Riverside. But their families did the same migration pattern. So it was really amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a cool path. And they were meant, obviously, to be together.
Yes. Married for 60 years.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
it's a beautiful love story.
That is a really beautiful love story.
Mm-hmm.
And you still spend a lot of time with your mom, right? I mean, I do. Yes, that's so awesome.
I'm very, very close with my mom. I was just looking because Facebook, will do your memories. And we did a trip. We did a California coastal trip 2 years ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was already 2 years ago. So I need to take her on another trip. So
it's time.
Maybe we'll do Arizona or something. Yeah. Another time for another road trip.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So switching gears on you a little bit. How did you get into real estate? What drew you to that?
I always knew when I was getting ready to go to college that I wanted something with communications. I didn't know if it was public relations or something. And so I decided on communications with broadcast journalism. So I wanted to get into TV news reporting. So I studied for that. I did a little bit of that, but I got married and pregnant right away. So I married my college sweetheart. And so Jordan came along right away. And so I never really got the chance to pursue it that much, So I stayed home with the kids. So my kids are now 31 and 36. But I stayed home with them in the beginning and then did a little bit of writing here, did a little bit of broadcasting for the city of Anaheim, just some marketing and advertising, some acting, and then I got into the Fashion Institute with FITM, is a local fashion design college here. So they hired people, and I found it in like one of the acting magazines or whatever. They were hiring presenters to go into the high schools and give these presentations. It was kind of a soft sell for the college because if any of the students, high school students were interested in the college, I'd have them fill out a form and then I would give that to the admissions department. So I was doing that for a while and then working with different colleges. And then I met my second husband and he was a real estate broker. So he was like, oh, you should get into real estate. And I just kind of went, and it's been amazing.
And
it's
here
been
you
the
are.
perfect fit. Yeah.
Oh,
it takes the writing, it takes the marketing, it takes the acting, it takes public speaking, it takes all of those skills that I have and puts it into one job, and I really, really love it. Yeah.
Well, it seems perfect for you because
it does.
You're so personable and you have just this bright persona. Yeah, you brighten the room for sure. You do live up to your name.
Thank you. Yeah, I really love it. It's very rewarding to me. It doesn't feel like work. Someone was asking, like, how many hours do you put into it? And I'm like, well, probably a lot. I mean, I pretty much work every day, but not full hours, not an 8-hour day every day, And that's what's beautiful about it too, because a couple of years ago, my mom, she was actually at my house and she fell in my stairwell. So she severely sprained her ankle and the doctor said, we took her to emergency and the doctor said she has to stay in bed. She can't be on this ankle for 3 months.
Gosh.
Like who's going to take care of her? So when we went home back to my house, I packed a bag and immediately went to my mom's house in San Diego and slept on her couch for 3 months to take care of her. But I was able to do that because of my job, So that's what's so amazing. I just came to Orange County like every 2 to 3 days to take care of my clients. And, it was just, it's wonderful to not be able to, or not to have to punch a time clock.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That is so important to have that flexibility. And, I always used to tell my team, your hours are flexible, but not optional.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, you
That's a
just
good point.
have to find the time, that works. But it's, when you love your job, it makes it easy because it doesn't feel like you're really, grinding.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And I imagine your clients love you too. So
For the most part, every once in a while we get someone that's not happy, but
well, yeah, that's anywhere, I think.
I know. I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so how long have you been a realtor?
This is my 10th year.
Oh,
Actually. So, yeah, 10 years full time, so,
yeah.
so now I have my second divorce. So I have to count them now. So there's 1, 2, the number that, so now I'm on my own full time in real estate, which can be scary because it's
Oh, for sure.
100% commission,
Right.
so I don't have my partner to help, pay the bills or, to have that
Right.
security,
Mhm.
So I am very proud of myself. Like I just did my tax returns and I'm like, okay, did all right, so
Good for
it's
you.
empowering, to take control of your finances, to just be in control that way, so
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a great career if you work it. Like there's
Yeah.
so many young people that want to get into real estate because they see all these shows,
Yeah.
all the HGTV shows,
Right,
$1 million listing, and it's
Flip
like,
this house. Yeah.
you get some good commissions, but you actually have to work for it,
Yeah.
and they don't understand the whole behind the scenes that goes on to make a deal get done. I had written a post on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it, but like the day before I had done what's called double-ended a transaction. So I represented both the seller and the
nice.
buyer on the same house.
Yep.
So my post that day was congratulations. Everybody was happy, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day I did a post where like, there's a picture that my friend took of me. I'm sitting on a rock in a parking lot and I'm talking on the phone, speakerphone, and you can just see my face, just like I'm so stressed and I'm so down, I was talking to my buyers and we were in escrow and then they were getting cold feet and everybody was the seller was giving them extra stuff. The lender was trying to help them.
no.
I was trying to help them. And they just ended up canceling. And I was trying so hard there was so many people trying to make that transaction work, And it wasn't about the commission. It was about getting this young couple into a house that now a year later, they're priced out. They're priced out of the market,
Yep.
So we were trying to help them. And so I wrote this whole post about this is the behind the scenes that no one ever talks about. I'm the first person on the scene helping my buyers, and I'm the last person to get paid. I don't get paid until a few days after the buyer gets the keys, And in this situation, I didn't get paid at all. I've been doing all the work ahead of time, showing all those properties in escrow for nearly 30 days and canceled.
Oh, gosh.
So, like that's the
out of your
downside
control.
of this business. Exactly. Out of the control. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I imagine it takes a long time to build up a clientele and to really get rolling with it, right?
Yes.
Isn't it kind of a like a system that you kind of have? Well, first of all, you have to have your systems that work for you, but then the relationships that you build with buyers and sellers, I would think that would take a long time to get known in an area and to be, the go-to person.
Yes. And that's a challenge, especially with new agents. Like, where do you get the
where do you
clients?
start?
Where do you start? And I was that way too, because I just thought, like, I'll get my license, I'll get licensed, and then people will show up, And it's like, that's the hardest thing probably about real estate is that you're, 80% of your time is looking for the next client, 20% you're actually in transaction, but 80% you're networking, you're, following up on leads, you're doing open houses, you're door knocking, you're doing all these things to get that, that next client. Yeah. So that's the hard part. I'm really fortunate now that probably around year 7 or so, I started to get more referrals, so I had, my past clients were like, oh, you need to talk to my daughter. You need to talk to my neighbor, and it just started building from there. So now I'm probably like 85, 90% referral, so I'm really fortunate in that. Yeah. I don't have to go out and do the door knocking and, struggle to find those next clients, but yeah.
That's interesting and huge what you just said. Like 7 years you were working it to build those relationships, to meet new people. How did you What do you feel is the best way to build your clientele and to make those relationships? How do you meet people?
I think I was really fortunate that because the like the broadcasting background, right? And so
Oh yeah.
give me a mic, like I don't have a problem of going up and talking to people, whether
Uh-huh.
it's on camera, or in person. So
Uh-huh.
one of the first things I did was door knocking apartment complexes. So
Oh
not even in
wow.
neighborhoods, but I Googled like apartments that had a certain rent
Mm-hmm.
amount. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, that, if it's, $3,000 a month or whatever, then if they're paying that, then they probably can afford, a house payment. This was
Yeah.
10 years ago. And then I went with a lender who had a flyer for first time home buyers,
Oh,
so we would
nice.
just door knock, and that's how I
Mm-hmm.
got my first client. So doing that. And then I had a girlfriend that gave me a break. So her selling her condo in locally here in Orange County. And then she bought a condo in San Diego. So I had 2 transactions from her. So she gave me my first break too. So that's
Wow.
kind of like how I first started. And then it just kind of built from there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like door knocking, it's open houses, holding open houses, because if you're holding an open house for another agent, the other
Mm-hmm.
agent is happy that you're promoting the listing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the new agent gets any of those leads that come in that are unrepresented. That's kind of the
Oh, nice.
understanding.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you could get someone there. And then maybe it's just a looky-loo. They're just kind of, looking around, but you get their information and you stay in touch. So,
Oh, yeah.
maybe 3 months down the road, 6
Consistency.
months down the road. Yeah. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
build that funnel or that pipeline,
Yeah.
people coming in. And then the other thing that I did was I joined a women's networking group,
Oh, okay.
and I've been with them for probably 9 years,
Yeah.
and it's category based. So I'm the only realtor, so
Okay.
whenever someone in my group hears that a friend or family needs a realtor, I get that referral,
Yeah,
so
that's
that's really been
big.
great for my business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Very
it's just
nice.
keeping those relationships, you're very relation oriented also. So it's
Mm-hmm.
building those relationships, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
that trust factor, and then you become their go-to,
Yeah,
so.
for sure. Yeah, it
Yep.
takes time. And really, it
Mhm.
is it's making friends and developing those relationships.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were door knocking, and I'm trying to picture that, and I'm thinking, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, that must have been a roller coaster.
Well, and then you get kicked out too, because someone will complain that you just knocked on their door, and
Oh,
you're not
geez.
supposed to solicit in here. So then they'll call the
Oh,
lease manager, and then the guy comes up in his little golf cart. He's like, "Nope, get out." I'm like,
no, geez. Didn't mean to bug anybody. Just
Yeah, exactly.
trying to meet
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So, do you have any memories from those door knocking days that were, like fun or I
Well,
mean,
it definitely makes it more fun if you go with someone, So
oh,
I would
sure.
either go with a lender, or
Yeah.
even later years, I'd go with another realtor associate. Lenders, mortgage partners are always wanting to work with realtors because they get their business from the realtor, right? And
Oh,
so they'll
sure.
partner up. And so
Mhm.
we had one real mortgage lender that would make it a game. Like she'd be like, "Okay, you guys, we're going to door knock on Saturday morning for 3 hours. I'll print your flyers. You choose your neighborhood. And then we're going to meet back at such and such for lunch, And so then
Oh.
she'd provide pizza and beer. And then she'd be like, "Okay, so like who got chased by a dog? Okay, he's like throwing out a candy or whatever. You're like, had the door slammed in the face. All of us. Okay, so here's some candy, and she would just make it
Wow.
fun. That
Yeah.
was really cool,
That is
So,
fun. So, yeah. So she used gamification to make it
What is
fun.
it? Gamification.
Gamification. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And there was a reward at the end. So no matter,
Exactly.
you knew that you guys were getting together for lunch and going to have
Yep.
a good time, and it was going to be
Yep.
fun. Wow. There's
Yeah.
a lot of lessons there.
Exactly, because it is scary,
Yeah.
It is fear evoking, like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't want to, I don't want to bother these people, I don't want them to slam the door in my face. I don't want to
Right.
get in trouble from the condo association, whatever it is,
Yeah,
you
for
just have to, like,
sure. Hello, friend. Let's be real. When's the last time you did something just for you? Enter Wine Camp 2026. We're talking wine tastings, fire pit chats, sunset dinner cruises, and zero cooking required. Just show up, sip something fabulous, and reconnect with the version of you who loves adventure, sisterhood, and a glass of local Riesling in hand. Sweet, dry, or both. No judgment here. We're heading to New York's gorgeous Finger Lakes, July 31st through August 2nd. And yes, it's as dreamy as it sounds. Secure your spot at pennyforyourshot's.com/winecamp. Don't wait. Room options are limited. And my crystal ball says we're going to sell out. Bring your besties or fly solo like the fabulous free spirit you are. You'll leave with new favorites either way. Wine Camp 2026 is calling. The only question is, are you in? Find out more at pennyforyourshots.com/winecamp.
You have to, just put on your big girl pants and go out there and do it, and they say like, every no is one step closer to the yes, but it's still hard to hear those no's. You have
exactly.
To it's still,
it still hurts. Yeah,
it does.
or it feels, you can feel uncomfortable or whatever. And you just have to keep remembering why you're doing it. You're trying to help, people who are probably, if you're spending $3,000 a month, that could, that's going somewhere else. It's not building something for yourself. So
exactly.
Yeah, keeping all that in mind and helping other people get what they are ultimately going for too. You got to keep that stuff in mind.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's keeping. You're exactly right. It's the mindset of I have a service that's going to help someone else. You know, and what happened with that first couple that I met door knocking apartments. Super sweet. She's a nurse and her husband is Orange County Transit bus driver.
Okay.
And so we got them pre-approved with that lender that I was with. And then we were looking in Orange County and the price point was just so high. So we started looking in, what is it? Corona. So the Inland Empire. So a different county.
Okay.
Right. Found a house, great value, blah, blah, blah. Put it into escrow. Well, unfortunately, my lender partner, who was also new because we were both brand new, so we didn't know what to look for. There's different loan maximums for different counties. And so he didn't realize that she was buying in a different county. And so then when it came down to get the final approval on the loan, they weren't approved. Oh. So they tried all these different things, take the husband off, try the husband back, and we were in the process of losing the house. And so we had already removed contingencies and that'll protect your deposit. And I had asked the loan officer, are we good to remove the loan contingencies? So, we were day 28 of a 30-day escrow. We were at the very end and the loan was falling apart. And so since we removed that last contingency, the $10,000 was now at risk. And so we had to cancel the contract. Oh, and I'm talking to the listing agent and I'm like, can we get that $10,000 back? And he's like, no, we just wasted a month of my seller's time. He has the right to keep that $10,000. And I'm like, oh, my buyer is pregnant. My buyer's pregnant. So she has that stress. She's got to lose the $10,000 and she doesn't get the house. Are you kidding me?
Oh, gosh.
I was so upset.
Sick to your stomach, I bet.
Sick to my stomach. Absolutely. So then I'm going on, like, who can I talk to? Because I tried talking to the manager of that mortgage company. They weren't budging. I went up all the way on the ladder. I went on LinkedIn and I found like a senior VP and I reached out to him and he did a conference call with me and ended up offering $5,000 back. So then I went to the seller agent, the listing agent, and I told him, mortgage company is going to give us $5,000 back. Will you please just ask the seller for only $5,000? He can keep the other $5,000. You're going to put it back on the market and you'll get an offer like that. It'll sell. Right. So he did. He went back to the owner and said, can we just give the $5,000? So they got the $10,000 back. And then escrow was like, sorry, but I have to keep $500 because we've done all the paperwork. I'm like, here's $500, and those buyers were so thankful because they saw how I bought for them.
Yeah.
They bought again in Orange County like 2 years later. And they bought from me. Yeah.
And they were able to, oh my gosh.
And they put themselves in a situation for saving 2 more years to buy in Orange County. So that was what they
and that's what they wanted.
Anyway.
Yeah. Oh,
so
wow.
it all worked out. Woo. Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean,
it is
$10,000, especially for your first home. I remember saving up for the first home and it just took forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, good. That's awesome that you were able to get that done for them and now they're happy. And
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So what else do you love about your job? I mean, you light up when you talk about it, but what else are you excited about?
Yeah, it's they say in my business that you list to last. So that means if you want to grow your business, if you want to stay in real estate, you should get listings versus buyers. So that's always the thing, is get more listings versus working with buyers. Buyers are very time consuming. It's labor intensive because you're going out and you're showing homes and, it's an emotional roller coaster and, all that kind of stuff. So buyers they're difficult, but I love buyers. I know I'm supposed to be going and getting listings, but the buyers are so rewarding because there's just nothing better at the end of, 2 months or whatever you've been working with these clients and handing over the keys. That's
so exciting.
Amazing. It really is a special thing. I was working with this one couple and they were from like San Francisco, the Bay Area, and they were so excited to come to Orange County because they're like, now we can afford a house. They can afford it in San Francisco. So they wanted something coastal. So we looked everywhere from San Clemente up to Dana Point, looking. And so one of a gay couple. So Spencer was talking to me and he, we got really close. And so he called me like at 9:00 on a Sunday night, and I pick up the phone and he says with his British accent, oh, Sonny, thank you so much for picking up the phone. And, I know I'm bothering you and I'm so sorry for bothering you. And, by the time that this whole transaction is over with, then I interrupted and I said, we're going to be best friends. And he said, and your Americans with your fancy attitudes and your happy attitudes. I was going to say you were going to say to me, oh, gosh. What's that in a British accent?
You did pretty good.
You become really close with these.
Of course you would.
You're just working, with them so closely and texting and calling all the time. And then, and then eventually they become your friends. So I'm really still good friends with Spencer to this day. So.
Well, yeah, you're riding the roller coaster with him. You're holding hands through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Well, he sounds like he'd be fun to have a drink with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it was funny because they were from San Francisco, so they came down a couple times for showings and then went back to San Francisco to pack up their house and stuff. And so for a while, every Thursday, I had Bible study in the morning, and then I would take my mom. My mom would go to Bible study too. And then I would take my mom on whatever errands I had to run for real estate, So she'd go with me to pick up a lockbox or whatever, And so I was doing virtual showings for Spencer and Jim. And so they, I would FaceTime them, and then we go and see all these beautiful houses in Laguna Beach, coastal.
Yeah.
So I'm showing this one house and I'm like, here, and then we're outside and wanted to see the ocean view, so I'm like kind of like over the balcony and he's like, okay, a little bit further, a little bit farther. And my little screaming in the background, thirst. Like, is that your brother? I'm like, no, that's my client.
He's messing with you.
Yeah, messing with me. Yeah. Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah. And your mom got to witness it.
Yeah, she's had a lot of fun. And then another time, because she's always followed real estate too. She's always had a passion for real estate, even though she didn't get into it. So back in the day, we had, our local newspaper, Orange County Register. And so then realtors would advertise. And so there was this, and he's still to this day, he's like a top producer in Laguna Beach, all the coastal cities. And his name is John Stanislaw. And so I was telling my mom a story about how I was working with a lease client. So they were looking at rentals in Laguna Beach, and that's like $10,000 a month, for these homes.
God.
I know, it's so amazing. So I make an appointment to go show this one house, and the assistant says, okay, I'll meet you there. So they had to open the gate, and I drive down this long driveway, and I get out, and a man is there to meet me, and I'm thinking it's the assistant, Darren or whatever. So I shake his hand. I'm like, oh, are you Darren? And he's like, no, I'm John Stanislaw. And I was like, whoa, because he's like a real celebrity,
Yeah,
And I'm telling my mom this whole story. And before I get to John, like his last name, she's like, not John Stanislaw. And I'm like, yes. And she's like, oh, he's so handsome. I'm like, Mom, but you're right, yes.
Oh, that's cute. How old is your mom?
We share all their stuff. She's 83.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, she's amazing. She walks every day. She's, very, very healthy. Eats her fruits and vegetables. Never smoked, never drank. Doesn't drink soda, fast food, nothing. She's in great, great condition. Yeah, it's awesome.
Huh? Yeah. My husband teases me because my parents were quite old too when they passed away. My, Dad was almost 103. He was like 3 weeks shy of 103.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I was so lucky to have him so long. He was so fun to hang out with. And
that's awesome.
Super fun. And Mom was 91. So she passed. She had Alzheimer's.
Okay.
But both sides of my family are like they. I laugh that I think my people are too stubborn to die. I don't know. I don't know if that's it or not. But
that's funny.
But my husband, he says, yeah, but that's unproven with alcohol.
That's funny.
I'm partly pickled, with my wine and stuff.
Hey, that works.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm having fun anyway. Yeah. And, I feel like wine brings people together too. It's been such a fun career, and like having wine with people and sharing it with new friends. And
yeah. I love that you've done that, and you've done that for a long time. You've built a great business with that.
Yeah. It's shifted now because the Traveling Vineyard went away, but I'm doing my own now. I'm doing my own wine tastings and more corporately, like doing for businesses and stuff, and speaking engagements. But then also the podcast. It's just been so fun to talk to people like you.
It's awesome.
And hear your stories and share them because everybody. I feel like we all have good stories and we need to be heard. Deserve to be heard.
For sure. Everybody has a story. Yeah.
Yeah. And awesome. Everybody's story means it can help other people. And I feel like it means something. You matter. Everyone matters to someone else. And everybody, not everybody sees that or sees how much value they bring. And I just want to lift everybody up.
That's wonderful. Do you, are you familiar with the woman named Corrie ten Boom?
Yes.
Yes. So she had The Hiding Place. So that was her book and then was made into a movie, right?
Yeah.
And so she was actually a mentor to my mom. My mom
really
got to meet her. Yes.
Holy cow.
Because she came to America in, Corrie did in her later years and had a speaking engagement at my mom's church. And so my mom got to meet her and she really mentored my mom because, my mom was, in the captivity under the Japanese. So she just has this, fear and anger towards a whole race of people, And so Corrie told her the story of when she was in the concentration camp, Corrie and her sister Betsy. And so, and that's such a great, book and movie. So there was scenes where they were doing a Bible study, doing a secret Bible study in their camp, and there was a specific guard that was just horrific, horrible to them. And Betsy ended up dying right before they were liberated, so she didn't get to see freedom. Yeah, and so Corrie on her speaking engagements is telling all this whole story. And then at the end of one of her speaking engagements, this gentleman comes up to her and he says, do you remember me? And she's looking at him and she says, I don't think so. And then he puts out his hand and he says, I'm the guard. And sweet God.
Oh no.
And she just had to say a quick prayer. And she's like, God, I can't forgive him. And he asked that. He put his hand out and he said, will you forgive me? And she said, I can't, she's praying over it. And she said, she's telling my mom this, her arm went up. She had no control over her arm. And she shook that man's hand. And so it was out of her she could not physically, emotionally do it, but it was God through her that let her forgive this man. And so Corey told my mom this story that the only way you can forgive is through your higher power. It's only through God. That's the only way you can forgive people through that horrific treatment, And so that really, honestly, helped my mom to come to a point of forgiveness. And my mom has written her story. So her book is called Meisha, which means little girl in Dutch. And then the subheading is a young girl's journey to forgiveness. So it's all about her journey. Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. So I will include links to your mom's book.
Wonderful. Thank you.
In my stuff. That's very moving.
Oh, and the other thing that made me think of that is because you're talking about, people's story and how it's so impactful to everyone. So Corey would use a tapestry, like a woven tapestry as an example. And so you see this beautiful picture on the front and it's all these colors and everything. And then you look on the back and sometimes you can't even tell what it looks like, what the front is. It's just kind of a mass of knots and you've got a red thread going here and a blue thread going here. But when you flip it back on the right side, you can see that red thread made a difference in that picture.
Oh, wow.
That blue thread made a difference in that picture. So everyone, you make a difference in this tapestry. I make a difference in this tapestry.
Oh,
what a beautiful example.
Yeah.
So she would bring this tapestry when she was speaking and give that example. Yeah.
Wow, that's a great, beautiful illustration. So I am curious, did you happen to grow up in the Reformed Church? Is that?
No. It was a Presbyterian church that was independent. So they did break away from the national Presbyterian church. But yeah.
All right. I was just curious because Corrie ten Boom was a big, we studied the book in the church that I grew up in.
Oh, okay.
Which was a Reformed church in America.
Oh, got it.
Member of the RCA. So that made me think, well, maybe.
Right. Oh, interesting. I wasn't familiar with that. Okay.
Yeah. It's a great story. Yeah, that's another good book to read. For listeners out there who haven't heard of it, that's The Hiding Place. It's really
The Hiding Place. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Cool. Well, what have I not asked you that you want to share?
Gosh. I think as a female entrepreneur, I'm a female entrepreneur. It's just really empowering women to take control over their lives. Like I said, I've had 2 divorces now, and it's just to know that I'm okay. I can do this,
Right.
and I think it's just really letting other women know you don't have to stay in a bad relationship, for fear of money or, how am I going to take care of my kids, and things like that. At some point, you have to have that faith that things are going to be okay. I just have to step out in faith, So,
right.
Yeah, I think that's a message I would want to share with other women.
That's a great message and lesson to learn for sure that you can share. Yeah. Well, I always ask too, what's your favorite wine or cocktail?
I'm thinking about that because I knew that question was coming. My wine, and this is just recently, probably over the last year, is now I love the Sauvignon Blanc. So that's my wine, but I don't necessarily like the New Zealand.
Oh, yeah, they're really, really spicy. Yeah, they're very
so
green.
I like more of the California coastal Sauvignon Blancs. Yeah, so that's my new discovery. So I love that. And then my group of friends have really gotten into tequila, but like the with no additives, so really pure tequila,
like a silver or blanco.
Yes, and some of the tequilas, they add like glycerin, and so that really gives you the hangovers and stuff. If it's non-additive and it's all organic, man, it's just really pure to drink. So I now am making a spicy cucumber
Ooh.
jalapeno margarita with all the good stuff. So that's really good. Yeah.
That sounds, I love that. That's
Yeah. So
up my alley.
That's my cocktail and that's my wine.
Okay. You are my people.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. The headaches and stuff. I always kid people that, I think it's a quantity thing rather than additives.
Right. Could be too.
Yeah, just you got to hydrate too. Just keep your water handy and drink a glass of water between your glasses of wine or cocktail.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, the spicy cucumber margarita, right? So you put it has lime in it as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yum.
Well, it depends on what mixer I'm using because. So I've been using it's called Tommy's and it's refrigerated. So it's and it's mostly I think just lime and agave. So it's very natural as well. Yeah. And then I take the cucumbers and I have my muddler. So that's the key is you have to muddle the cucumber so that it, gets all the oils out of it. So you muddle the cucumbers and then slice the jalapenos. And depending on how spicy you want it, because the longer that the jalapenos in there, it's going to make it even spicier, So I'll just do a little bit and then shake it up, and pour it out. And there you go.
Yum. Happy hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sounds yummy. I don't know if this is just a regional thing or what, but I feel like jalapenos have different levels of spice depending on which week I get them at the store.
Oh,
I don't know. Have you noticed that at all? I mean, you're kind of in an area that grows more jalapenos than I do.
I'm not a real spicy kind of person, actually. So I have, I can't handle heat very well. So I make sure to take the seeds out. You take the seeds out and the pit. Yeah, exactly. And then just slice it up. Yeah. Okay. So the jalapeno has been the most mild for me. I can't do other ones.
Like a serrano or.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love spice, but yeah, I like to know that it's coming.
Right. Be prepared. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. The other day I was making a stir fry and I grabbed a jalapeno that I shop at Aldi and I grabbed a jalapeno and just cut it up and I took the seeds out, but I left the ribs and put it in. We almost couldn't eat it. It was so
that made such a difference, huh?
It did. And I'm not sure why that particular pepper was spicier than the other one sitting right next to it in the same bag.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I guess the rule the new rule is test it before you put it in the whole dish. Yeah. Or your drink.
Roll.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Well, I don't want to miss an opportunity to ask you anything. So is there anything else that you want to share?
Well, I'm really fortunate in my relationships and I'm not sure. I mean, I've always said I won the parent lottery because my parents have just been amazing. And I'm really fortunate that I grew up in Orange County in a small little town. I moved once from Fullerton to Brea, stayed in that house in Brea until I graduated from college and got married, So just having those roots, I think it means a lot, it's really fortunate. And then when I got married, my first husband worked in the music industry and traveled a lot. So we decided that I would stay home with the kids. So I was able to stay home with the kids. So they, got their roots there in here in Lake Forest, and grew up there. And so I'm really blessed by my relationships. And so with my sons, they're older now, one lives out of state and then the other one, is here in Orange County, but they're 31 and 36. And so what we've done now is we have a Monday morning accountability, phone call. And, because we're all entrepreneurs, which is crazy. So, their dad is in the music industry. He has his own production company. I'm a realtor. My youngest son is a mortgage guy. And then the older one is just starting his business in web design and consultation. So we're all entrepreneurs. So that's amazing. But you got to kick yourself in the butt and get yourself out of bed because you don't have a boss telling you to do that,
Right.
So we've got this Monday morning call where we talk about, okay, these are my tasks for this week. This is what I want to accomplish. How did I do for last week? So That's been really good.
That's awesome. Having an accountability buddy is so important when you're an entrepreneur, especially. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And how nice is it that it's your family?
Yeah. It's really special. It's really sweet.
So you can kind of encourage each other and lift each other up and celebrate your wins. And
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I'm using my son, like I'm going to be purchasing an investment property. So he's helping me with the loan on that. And then my older son, since it's my 10-year anniversary, I told him I wanted to revamp my logo and I need my website redone. So he's working on that for me. So I was keeping it all in the family.
That's good, as you should. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, and as we were talking earlier, you were talking about some of the prices of rent and how it's expensive. I wonder if some of my listeners are curious about that. So can you give listeners an idea of what you're looking at there in Orange County?
I'm flabbergasted on the prices.
Yeah.
In South Orange County, it's $1 million. It's $1 million for 3 bedrooms. You know, it's just
really
crazy. It's really, really hard. I was just looking because I had a buyer last year. And he found a cute little single family home in Santa Ana, which is an older city. It was 2 bedroom, 1 bath, I think maybe 800 square feet. And so he was interested in buying that. And so that at that time was, I think it was $575 for a 2 bedroom.
Wow.
1 bath. So I looked it up just the other day and it ended up selling for $600.
Wow.
So it went higher than it was. This was last year. Beginning of 2023. So January 2023. So a year ago now. So then I did another search for homes, single family homes under 700,000. Just 2 popped up and they were like in horrific condition. So 1 year later, that same home would be selling for like $750. So, you know,
wow,
100,000 over in 1 year.
It's
crazy how the prices have gone. That's why I was so upset with this couple that pulled the plug, because they're going to be priced out now. You know, it's so hard. Like you have to, if you want to get into Orange County, like you have to do whatever you can. Just take that 2 bedroom condo that needs new carpeting and everything. Just get into the game, you know, and then you're going to build that equity, because it builds equity so quickly, you know.
Oh, wow.
And people ask about a bubble. We don't see a bubble. The professionals that I talk to, because it's a different market. Back in 2008, we had inventory, and then we had loans that were just being thrown out, you know, like, okay, you know, you say you make, 150,000. Okay. You know, it was what my ex-husband called the ninja loan, no income, no job, and just being approved, you know? Like, we were taking it on people's word rather than verifying. And so that's changed. The whole mortgage industry has changed. So we have those safeguards of people being approved like the right way, you know, and then the inventory is just really low. So because of those circumstances, we don't see the bubble and the market, you know, falling as it did back in 2008. Yeah.
Wow. So Orange County is higher priced. Why do you suspect it's so much more there than other
because I think it's so centrally located. You've got the ocean, you have the mountains, you have LA, you have San Diego, you even have Las Vegas, you know, all of that is within 2 to 4 hours. Drivable, definitely drivable. And then there's a lot of industry here too, you know, or if it's industry in LA, but people don't want to live in LA, then they're coming to Orange County.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how, we were talking about just, you know, a regular home, right? The prices you were talking about were just, you know, an average kind of home in a neighborhood. But what, like, so if somebody wanted to live on the beach, what would they have to
have an ocean view? To have an ocean view, it's going to be, I mean, probably $3 million.
Wow.
Minimum.
Wow.
But if it's on the beach, if it's on the on the water, it's like, geez, $8 million and above.
Wow.
It's just crazy.
Move your decimal point.
Yeah. And what's crazy too is because my mom used to live in San Clemente, which is South Orange County. She lives in San Diego now. She's trying to come back. And so even mobile home parks. So you're talking about a manufactured home, you can find one for at $250,000, which for us, that's a great deal to buy a house for $250,000. But the space rental, you have to pay the rent for that land that it sits on. This $3,000 a month, $3,000 a month for the space rental. So it's just crazy. So it used to be a mobile home park was a good option for seniors.
A first step or a last step. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just not anymore.
Oh, wow.
And what's happening too is a lot of investors have seen this as a good investment to buy mobile home parks. So they buy it. They either they jack up that space rent, and so it makes it unaffordable. And then a lot of times they've been jacking it up so much that it kind of clears people out, and then they end up selling the land to a developer, and then they put condos there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then everybody's priced out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So it's hard. I mean, this is my industry, but I feel so frustrated for the people to get into it. You know, it's really hard. We were just talking about that, and I have a mastermind group of realtors that were all about the same production, selling about the same volume. And this one gal was saying, she's like, I'm trying everything to get my buyer in, and we keep getting rejected. We keep getting beat out on all these other buyers. And she's like, we're cash. We're not doing any contingencies, blah, 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 blah. And I go, what price point are you at? And she says, $2 million.
Oh,
like,
my
Gosh,
goodness.
at the $2 million price point, you're getting multiple offers. I've had 2 buyers recently that were under 700,000. So that's like a starter condo is set under 700,000. And that was multiple offer because there's so many buyers at that price point trying to get in,
Wow.
And so I had one buyer that got in. We got in at 675 for a 3-bedroom condo. The other one we could not get an offer accepted. And so they went back to renting their apartment, and they said, they'll save up some more money and they'll try again next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's tough. Because I remember those days trying to save up, and it just felt like we would never get there.
Yeah.
If you don't have some kind of nest egg or inheritance or whatever, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah, and it's crazy that there's still, I don't know where they're getting the money, but there are cash buyers at $1 million plus. Like this agent had a cash buyer at $2 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's somebody's decimal point is a little different.
I know. Really? Well, I had a listing in Lake Forest. It was brand new construction, and the seller had purchased it as a second home. He's on the East Coast, and he comes to Orange County quite a bit for work, and so he bought it, had it, built, chose all the finishes and everything. And then his life circumstances changed, and he thought, I'm just not going to be able to enjoy it as much as I thought. I'm stuck more here on the East Coast. So he decided to put it on the market. So he wanted, I think he went in originally, like 1.7 to purchase it. But then with all the upgrades, it got to 2 million, or 2.1 all in for his investment. So he's like, I need at least 2.4 to be able to pay the commissions, to pay the closing costs, to just get out of this thing, And when I ran the numbers, I'm like, I don't see 2.4, it's just not, I don't see how we're going to get there. I said, if we did 2.2, we'll sell it, if you're okay to maybe wait a little bit longer, wait for that perfect buyer and get it staged, and we'll do all the promoting, then I would say maybe 2.35. And he was just firm on that 2.4. I said, okay, all right, we'll list it for 2.4 and we'll see what happens, So then it was sitting on the market for a while. We did a reduction. So it's 2.4. Then we did a reduction under. I'm like, we got to get a 3 in there. So actually I wanted a 2 in the second number, but he wanted a 3 in there. So I think it was a 2.35 or something like that. And then ended up getting a cash offer for 2.2. And they went, see?
Yep.
Did I not say 2.2?
Who's the expert here?
Yeah. But I was also glad that we tried it at 2.4 because then at least he knew, he wasn't going to have regrets and think, oh, I left money on the table. I should have tried for 2.4. He found out that we couldn't get there. But that was a cash buyer at 2.2.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's something.
It's something. It's something. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Well.
Yeah.
Sonny, this has been so fun and lovely to see you and catch up and hear what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Great to see you, Penny.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. That's a wrap on another spirited episode of Penny for Your Shots, conversations and cocktails with brilliant women. I hope you've enjoyed the intoxicating blend of wisdom, wit, and wonder that these incredible women bring to the table. Check out the show notes for links to resources referenced in today's episode. And remember to subscribe and raise a glass with me every Thirsty Thursday as we continue to serve up inspiration, celebrate resilience, and reignite the passions that set our souls on fire. If you've loved what you've heard, please share the podcast far and wide and leave a sparkling 5-star review to let me know your thoughts. It would also help tremendously if you would visit pennyforyourshots.com and subscribe to learn when new episodes are available and pick up my free recipe. In the meantime, remember that your story deserves to be served and savored. Cheers to your brilliance and of women everywhere. Until next time, keep sipping and experiencing life's extraordinary moments. This is Penny for Your Shots, signing off with a clink and a toast to us. Cheers.